And welcome to Technology Tap. I'm Professor J-Rod. In this episode, the history of the internet from Sputnik to the smartphones. Let's tap in. Hi, welcome to Technology Tap. I'm Professor J-Rod. For those who don't know me, I am a cybersecurity teacher that I love to help my students pass their CompTIA A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, and coming soon, Tech Plus. But every now and then I like to do a history lesson. Consider myself an amateur historian, so I kind of mix my love of computers with my love of history. And I like to do these series. This usually comes out on Sundays. The history of whatever, right? We've done several. The history of computers, the history of America Online. So today we are going to do the history of the internet. And I'm also going to put in the show notes a link to my website with a study guide. So any of you teachers out there want to be able to go to professorjrod.com/downloads, look for the episode that you want to download, click on it, you'll download a study guide, and you can give it to your students as homework assignment. Have them listen to the podcast and then answer the questions that are on there. Or, during Christmas break, you could give them assignments on the podcast and then use the study guide for the questions, or just resources that they can use over the winter break. I hope you enjoy it. If you want to follow me, I have different platforms you can follow me. You can follow me on TikTok at Professor J-Rod. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can at Professor J-Rod. On Twitter, I'm at Professor J-Rod. And if anybody who knows me knows that I love coffee. So if you want to buy me a coffee, you go to buymeacoffee.com/Professor J-Rod. All right. Before TikTok, before Google, before AOL, before email, there was a world where the internet didn't exist. No Wi-Fi, no browser, no streaming, no cloud. Not even the idea of billions of devices connecting across the globe. But innovation doesn't start with what exists. It starts with a problem. And in the late 1950s, that problem was global tension, fear, and a race to control information. Today, we begin our journey from Cold War military labs to the first digital connections to dial-up access, to the rise of search engines, social media, streaming, and the modern internet that runs the world. Welcome to Technology Tap. This is the history of the internet. October 4th, 1957. A shiny metal sphere, just 23 inches across, beeps across America's sky. Sputnik. The United States panic. If the Soviets can launch a satellite, what else they can do? Washington responds by creating ARPA, the Advanced Research Project Agency. Mission: prevent technological surprises. Make the U.S. the leader in advanced science. ARPA will eventually create the most powerful network ever imagined, but no one knew it yet. Enter psychologist named J.C.R. Licklider, and we've talked about him in an earlier episode. In 1962, he wrote a memo describing something unbelievable at the time. A global interconnected set of computers through which everyone can quickly access data and programs. The Galactic Network. Licklider imagined digital communications, instant access to information, computers talking to each other, people sharing knowledge around the world. His ideas were decades ahead of reality, but hired him, and the first seed of the internet was planted. To build a global network, scientists needed a new way for computers to talk. Telephone lines transmitted voice in a single continuous stream, circuit switching. But computers, they needed something faster, more efficient, more flexible. Enter packet switching. Instead of sending a giant file all at once, you chop it into small packets, route them independently, and reassemble them at the destination. This was revolutionary. The two pioneers led the push. Paul Barron from Random Corporation and Donald Davis, UK National Physics Laboratory. UK National Physical Laboratory. The idea, a decentralized network that could survive failure. A network with no single point of collapse. This will matter later. The United States is landing on the moon, and ARP scientists are connecting the first computers. 4 nodes, UCLA, Stanford, UC Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah. The network, ARPANET. The first message, login. But the system crashed after LO. And the first message ever sent over the internet was LO, as in lo and behold. ARPANET grows quickly. Computer scientists realize something. Networking isn't just a military project anymore. It's a communication revolution. Ironically, ladies and gentlemen, you notice that the 4 nodes were college institutions. Where nowadays, here in 2025, education is being attacked, grants are being taken away. But as you can see, colleges and universities hold a big part of the internet and research and experimentation and inventions and technology. So we cannot give that up. In 1971, Ray Tomlinson sends the first email. He chooses the @ symbol because it wasn't used for anything else. Email spreads instantly across ARPANET. Students use it, researchers use it, scientists use it. Within 2 years, email becomes the most used function on the network. People aren't just sharing data, they're talking. The internet becomes social long before social media. 1973, 1983. Victon Cerf and Bob Clan developed the protocols that still run the internet today. TCP/IP. TCP breaks data into packets and reassembles them, IP addresses and routes the packet. January 1st, 1983, Flag Day. ARPANET officially switches to TCP/IP. This is the real birthday of modern internet. By the 1980s, ARPANET, NSFNet, University Network, Research Lab networks, government networks all begin to interconnect. The word internet appears from interconnected networks. Email, FTP, Usenet, the early tools of collaboration emerge. And then everything changes in 1989. Tim Berners-Lee, working at CERN, creates HTML, HTTP, URLs, the first browser, the first web server. The World Wide Web is born. A system so elegant, so simple, so powerful that it transforms the internet from a network for researchers to a network for everyone. Berners-Lee didn't patent it. He gave it to the world, free. The web is the greatest open source gift in human history. Dial up the internet comes home. 1990s, the internet leaps from universities into living rooms. Companies like AOL, CompuServe, Prodigies bring the internet to billions. AOL alone sends over 1 billion CDs across America. People surf the web, send email, join chat rooms, use instant message, discover websites. The internet becomes a household word. But soon, it becomes something bigger. A global economy, a cultural force, a new way of life. We watch the internet evolve from Cold War experiment to research tool. to a household experience delivered through dial-up modem. Now we enter a new era, the era of speed, scale, and chaos. The 1990s through the early 2000s brought the browser wars, the rise of search, the dot-com explosion, broadband, Wi-Fi, Napster, social media, online shopping, and the first attempts to make sense of a global network that was growing faster than anyone could understand. This is the story how the internet became the infrastructure of modern life. Let's continue. 1993, a browser called Mosaic appears. Suddenly, the web isn't just text, it's images, colors, and layout. Two of the creators leave and form a company, Netscape. Netscape Navigator became the first dominant browser. Clean interface, fast rendering, innovative features, but success draws attention, especially from Microsoft. Microsoft launches Internet Explorer, bundling it with Windows. This creates the first browser wars. Netscape innovates, Microsoft integrates. By 2002, Internet Explorer controls 95% of the browser market. But the war is far from over, because Netscape's code becomes Mozilla, which spawns Firefox, Thunderbird, and eventually influences Chrome and modern web development. The browser becomes the centerpiece of internet life. The dot-com bubble, 1995 to 2000. Build a website, get rich. By the late 1990s, we were in a frenzy. Investors believed the internet could instantly transform everything. Companies sprang overnight. Pets.com, Webvan, Gazebo.com, eToys, Excite, Locals. Stock prices skyrocket. Super Bowl ads featured sock puppets. Everyone with a website was a millionaire on paper. But there was one problem. The technology wasn't ready, the business models weren't real, and the profits wasn't coming. In March 2000, the bubble burst. Billions vanished, companies collapsed, thousands lost their jobs, but out of the ashes came giants. Because around this time, 2 Stanford students were building something revolutionary. Google, the search engine that saw everything. In 1998, Larry Page and Sergey Brin launched Google, built on a simple idea. The best results from analyzing how pages link to one another. PageRank. Google isn't cluttered. No ads, no portal, just a search bar. Users flock to it. The world soon realized Google isn't a website. It's the map of the internet. Search becomes the gateway to all knowledge. And now Google has become, it's a lexicon in our vocabulary, right? When we say, hey, let's Google this, right? We use it as a term, kind of like diapers, right? Hey, or Pampers, right? Hey, pass me a pamper, which means diaper. Google's is kind of like that way, right? We mention it like that. Let's Google it. Broadband, the internet speeds up. Around 2002, 2004, dial-up phase and broadband, cable and DSL takes over. This changes everything. Suddenly, video becomes possible. Large download works. Online gaming becomes smooth. Websites become richer. Audio streaming emerges. Privacy surges. Digital content explodes. The internet is no longer a thing you dial into. It's always on. This is the moment that the internet becomes an essential utility. Wi-Fi, the internet goes wireless. Laptop sales rise, home routers become common, coffee shops offer hotspots, campus deploy wireless networks. Wi-Fi turns the internet from a location into a lifestyle. 802.11b, 802.11g, 802.11n, 802.11ac, 802.11ax. Each step faster, each step broader, each step reshaping how humans connect. Wi-Fi is the bridge between the wired past and the mobile future. In 1999, a college student named Sean Fanning creates Napster, a peer-to-peer file-sharing network for MP3s. It spreads like wildfire. Millions use it to download music illegally. Records label panic. Metallica sues. The court shuts down Napster, but the idea doesn't die. It evolves. And I'm going to do history of Napster. That's going to be one of the topics that I'll touch on next year. Kazaa, LimeWire, BitTorrent. This forces the music industry to transform, and soon legal streaming emerges. iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. The internet destroyed the old music economy and builds new ones. Ironically, right, using all these things, Napster, LimeWire, BitTorrent, we were downloading music for free. Ironically, now we pay for it. We pay for listening to iTunes. We pay for listening to Spotify. We pay for listening to Amazon Music. It's just so weird how it has changed from us just refusing to buy it, and now that we're like, because it's so cheap, we're like, well, it's worth it, the $6.99 a month to buy it, and then we buy it out of convenience, right? That's why we buy it. Social media is born. From MySpace to Facebook. 2003, MySpace launches. Custom profiles, music, friends, lists, HTML, chaos. It becomes the largest social network in the world. Then, in 2004, a Harvard project called The Facebook appears. Facebook spreads from university to high school to the world. Social media becomes identity, connection, communication, news, entertainment, influence. The internet becomes personal. Every user has a profile, a presence, a voice. This is a turning point in the digital culture. YouTube, the internet discovers video. YouTube launches and suddenly anyone can upload video. Not just companies, not just professionals, anyone. Viral videos change culture, creators emerge, tutorials democratize knowledge, entertainment moves online. Google buys YouTube for $1.6 billion. Today, YouTube is the second largest search engine on earth. Video becomes a core part of the internet. There used to be this company, I won't disclose it, that actually YouTube put it out of business. There was a company all over the U.S. that had different offices all over the U.S. that will record everything that was on TV. So, for example, if you saw a news story that was interesting to your company, right, you would ask that company, hey, yesterday I saw, the news, and about like 11:15, they had this story about XYZ company. You would buy that, and they would send it to you via VHS or CD. But because of YouTube, that's it. That company went out of business because of YouTube. E-commerce, Amazon, eBay, and the online marketplace. In the late 90s saw the birth of two giants, Amazon and eBay. Amazon started at books, and now they sell everything, and eBay is started as an online auction, and now it's a global marketplace. Online shopping transforms retail, logistics, payment processing, customer expectation. Fast shipping isn't a luxury, it becomes a norm. E-commerce becomes $1 trillion economy. The smartphone revolution. In 2007, Steve Jobs introduces the iPhone. A phone, an iPod, an internet communicator, all in one. Touchscreens replaced buttons. App stores exploded. Developers created mini software ecosystems. Android follows. Suddenly, the internet isn't just at home or at work. It's everywhere you are. The smartphone becomes the remote control for modern life. Cloud computing. The internet becomes the computer. Services like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, Dropbox, iCloud, OneDrive shifts the paradigm. Your files aren't on your device, they're everywhere. Cloud computing powers Netflix, Uber, Spotify, TikTok, Zoom, Gmail. The cloud becomes the invisible engine behind every modern app. Cybersecurity and the dark side of the internet. As the internet grows, so do the threat. Viruses, worms, ransomware, phishing, data breaches, identity theft, DDoS attacks, cyber espionage. The internet becomes a battlefield. Cybersecurity transfers from transforms from niche specialization to global necessity. We travel from the Cold War laboratories to dial-up modems to billion user platforms. Now we enter the modern moment. An internet woven into every object, every action, every decision. In these final moments, we'll explore the Internet of Things, streaming, edge computing, fiber, 5G, AI, cybersecurity, decentralization, and the future direction of the global network. The Internet of Things. Your thermostat talks to your phone, your watch talks to your doctor, your fridge talks to the cloud, your car updates over Wi-Fi, your lights listen for your voice. This is the Internet of Things. Billions of sensors and smart devices woven into the fabric of daily lives. IoT grew from technologies we covered earlier: Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, RFID, NFC, 4G to 5G, cloud storage, embedded systems. IoT has transformed healthcare, transportation, architecture, logistics, manufacturing, home automation, energy management. But more devices mean one thing: attack surfaces multiply. Many IoT devices lack strong security, can't be patched easily, ship with default passwords that people don't change, communicating clear threats, and remain online 24/7. This is why cybersecurity today is not just about computers, it's about everything plugged into the internet. Streaming. The internet becomes television. Streaming changed entertainment forever. It began with Real Player, Windows Media, QuickTime, but the technology wasn't ready. Then broadband hit. Then compression involved. Then YouTube arrived. And then Netflix made the boldest move in internet history, shifting from DVD by email to streaming video. By 2003, Netflix launched original programming. House of Cards, Orange is the New Black. Streaming becomes the new cable. The internet becomes the new broadcast tower. Today, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, YouTube TV, Peacock, Paramount Plus, and dozens more compete for your screen time. The internet becomes the primary delivery system for global entertainment. Social media 2.0, the rise of the algorithm. In the 2010s, social media shifts from connecting friends to personalized feeds, algorithm timelines, influencer culture, digital marketing, global movements, misinformation ecosystems. Platforms evolved. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, WhatsApp, Reddit, Discord. TikTok brings a new algorithms first model, short form behavior driven, addictive. The internet becomes not just a place you visit, but a place that shapes what you think, watch, buy, believe, and create. Fiber and 5G, the modern backbone. Fiber optic cables, thin strands of glass, carry data at the speed of light. Over 99% of global internet traffic travels through undersea fiber cables stretching across oceans. 5G expands the wireless frontier. Higher speeds, lower latency, massive device density, and real-time communication. This powers autonomous vehicles, remote surgery, augmented reality, mobile gaming, and smart cities. The combinations of fiber plus 5G represents the fastest, most powerful communication infrastructure humanity has ever built. The cloud becomes the brain, AI and machine learning. Artificial intelligence transforms how the internet functions. AI systems recommend content, route traffic, detect fraud, filter spam, process language, recognize faces, drive cars, translate speech, create art, generate text. Machine learning models train on massive data sets stored in the cloud data center. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and OpenAI invested billions into AI infrastructure. AI becomes the thinking layer of the internet. It doesn't just deliver information anymore. It interprets it, transforms it, and generates it. Cybersecurity in a hyper-connected world. As the internet grows, so do the threats. Modern attacks include ransomware, supply chain breaches, DDoS botnets, phishing kits, credential stuffing, malware for IoT, cloud misconfiguration, state-sponsored cyber espionage, and zero-day exploits. Cybersecurity is now inseparable from the internet story. Every device is a potential target. Every service is potential weakness. Every connection is a potential risk. The future of the internet requires a future of defense. Decentralization, the rebel against the centralized web. Some believe the internet has become too centralized. Big tech owns our data, our platforms, our communications, our contact distributions. Decentralized technologies emerge: blockchain, decentralized web protocols, distributed storage, peer-to-peer networks. Web3, IPFS, and decentralized identity models aim to give users more control, reduce reliance on tech giants, restore privacy, and create an open ecosystem. The future remains uncertain, but the movement is growing. The future, the internet beyond the screen. Where does the internet go next? Possibilities include holographic communications, brain-computer interfaces, quantum internet, global satellite coverage, Starlink or OneWeb, AI-driven personal digital assistants, ultra-low latency global connectivity, immersive virtual world, the Metaverse 2.0, ubiquitous computing. The internet may disappear into the background, invisible, automatic, omnipresent. A silent partner in every decision, every moment, every interaction. Closing reflections, the network that changed humanity. From a Cold War experiment to the greatest information tool ever created, the internet changed everything. It reshaped economies, connected continents, toppled industries, created new ones, changed how we communicate, work, learn, shop, date, socialize, and imagine the world. The internet isn't a technology anymore. It's a foundation, a living ecosystem built by billions of people across decades. And the story isn't finished. It evolves every day through our choices, our voices, and our innovations. The next chapter has already begun, and you're part of it. Thank you for listening to this episode of Technology Tap. I'm Professor J. Rod, and as always, stay grounded, stay curious, and keep tapping into technology. This has been a presentation of Little Cha-Cha Productions, art by Sarah, music by Joe Kim. We're now part of the Pod Match Network. And you can follow me at TikTok at Professor J Rod, that's J-R-O-D, or you can email me at ProfessorJRod, J-R-O-D, @gmail.com.